All right, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jay, host of the Technical File Podcast and host of the SJP Files, brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other podcast you listen to. You can make money from your podcast, no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Once again, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Round now say the same thing. They chasing the fame. They got one name. But they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Technical File Podcast. I'm your host, Jay, back at it again, and the NBA Finals are set. The Eastern Conference Finals are done. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the Atlanta Hawks. What was it? 118 to 107. This game was fantastic, especially the second half of this game. The first half was pretty even. In the second half, the Milwaukee Bucks essentially won this game in the third quarter. Chris Middleton was outstanding in the third quarter after being terrible in the first half. Well, he wasn't terrible in the first half. I don't feel like he was aggressive in the first half. He only had 5 points, 3 assists. He did have 3 steals, but he also had 6 turnovers, 3 rebounds, 2 for 6 from the field, 0 for 1 from the 3-point line. Drew Holiday was not much better. 4 for 11 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. He did have 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. But offensively, they just weren't clicking for some reason. And as for the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young did play this game after missing the last 2. Bogdanovich gave you 11 points in the first half. Trae Young gave you 5 points. John Collins only 4. Clint Capella 8. You had Cam Reddish, Danilo Gallinari, Lou Williams, and Nyeka Okongwu. Red Velvet was terrible. Kevin Huerter, for those of you who don't know, Red Velvet Kevin Huerter was not good in the first half. Was terrible shooting. He just didn't have a good series this year. He just did not have a good series. He was 1 for 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line, 3 assists, 4 steals, but no turnovers. Actually 1 turnover, 2 points. Did not have a great second half. Did not have a great first half. But in the third quarter, Chris Middleton was fantastic. Drew Holiday was also very good. 11 points from Holiday, but 23 points from Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton scores, I believe it was the first 16 points for the Milwaukee Bucks in the third quarter. And I think it was like 18 of their first, I would say 18 of their first like 21 points were scored by Chris Middleton in the third quarter. 23 points, 8 for 12 from the field. He hit 4 threes, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Just a force of nature in the third quarter. And that's really where the Milwaukee Bucks really put this game away. Trae Young, played 10 minutes in the fourth quarter, 1 for 4. He just was not the same. You could tell he wasn't healthy with the way he was moving. His change of direction just wasn't the same. He was tentative. You could just tell he was nowhere near healthy, but he knew his team was on the brink of elimination, and he tried to get them a chance to win a championship, a chance to have a chance to win a championship, to force this to a game 7, and maybe he would have been feeling better in game 7. But shout out to the Atlanta Hawks, far ahead of schedule. Far ahead of schedule for the Atlanta Hawks. Big ups to them. And you also got to give big ups to the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not one of those guys who's going to jump on a show and go, well, the Atlanta Hawks, man, they're just, I'm not the Atlanta Hawks, the Milwaukee Bucks. They got lucky, injuries here, there. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me one single bit. Injuries are a part of the league. Look at Steph Curry's first championship. Did not face a starting point guard that entire playoff run. Does anybody remember that? Nope. Nobody cares. Injuries are a part of the game. People talk, Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs. They, I think they were up by like double digits on like the KD Warriors. A lot of people thought they had a real chance to beat that Warriors team. Kawhi Leonard goes down. They go on to like sweep the Cavs in the finals. Does anybody remember Kawhi Leonard went down and that being an asterisk on the and that being an asterisk on nobody's going to care. That wasn't an asterisk on their championship hopes. It's not going to be an asterisk on anybody's championship hopes. This whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. It's just absolutely. I mean, you could honestly put an asterisk on like the last what, like 7, 8, 9 championships if you want to really, if we really talking about this asterisk talk. I mean, come on. This is absolutely ridiculous. I saw some on Twitter. I gotta find it real quick. But I mean, one of the guys I follow on Twitter was like, "Man, injuries to like half the Western Conference. A lot of the stars got hurt this year, and that sucks. But let's keep it a buck. This isn't any of those guys' fault. If I'm Chris Paul, I could give a rip about whether this is my first chance at a championship. I could care less. Could care less about this whole whining about asterisk talk. I hate the I hate the asterisk talk from last year. This I hate people screaming this Mickey Mouse championship fucking nonsense. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it. I can't stand this whole Mickey Mouse championship nonsense because we know damn well that if that had been Michael Jordan winning a championship in the bubble last year, we'd be screaming at the top of our heads. Not even a pandemic. Not even a pandemic can stop Jordan from winning a championship. I mean, last 2021 doesn't count injuries. 2020 doesn't count bubble. 2019 doesn't count KD Clay hurt. 2017, 2018, cheap rings over the stacked team. 2016 doesn't count Draymond Green. What was it? Draymond Green got suspended. 2015 doesn't count Kyrie and Kevin Love get hurt. Yo, championships don't matter. Championship, you win them, you win them. And in like 5 or 10 years, nobody's going to remember any of this nonsense. Nobody's going to remember that this guy got hurt. Nobody's going to remember that. Absolutely no one is going to remember that this season was stacked. I mean, like the hardcore basketball fans are going to remember that this season was like stacked with injuries. But like the casual fans, they're not going to give a damn. Casual fans aren't going to give a fuck. They're just going to know, well, Chris Paul won a ring, or Giannis Antetokounmpo won his first ring. Chris Paul finally got a ring. Devin Booker proving that he's a legitimate superstar in this league. DeAndre Ayton proving, yo, I belong in the conversation with Luka and Trae Young from my draft class. Giannis going to be proving, yo, I belong with the best player. I belong on the is he the best player in the league conversation. Those are the dudes we talking about. And I'm so sick and tired of this asterisk fucking nonsense. It's ridiculous. The Milwaukee Bucks earned their spot in the NBA Finals. They beat who was in front of them. Injuries are not their fault. Injuries are hilariously not their fault. It's not their fault that it's 100% not their fault that Joel Embiid wasn't healthy. That wasn't 100%. It's not their fault that Ben Simmons was afraid to shoot. It's not their fault that James Harden hurt his hamstring. It's not their fault that Kyrie Irving rolled his ankle. It's not their fault that Anthony Davis, same thing with the Suns. It's not their fault that LeBron wasn't 100% with that ankle injury. It's not their fault that Anthony Davis got hurt, re injured his leg in the playoffs. It's not their fault that Jamal Murray tore his ACL before the playoffs. It's not their fault that Kawhi Leonard went down with a leg injury in the Utah Jazz series. It's not their fault. You can only play who's in front of you. And let's keep this a buck. The Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks have both had to deal with injuries. People forget Giannis Antetokounmpo did not play in games 5 or 6. He hyperextended his leg in game 4. He did not play game 5. He did not play game 6, and Milwaukee won both games. Trae Young also didn't play game 5. He played game 6, but he was kind of a shell of his former self. Chris Paul injured his shoulder early on in the Lakers series, and then he got COVID and missed the first 2 games of the Western Conference Finals. I mean, come on. This is absolutely ridiculous. This asterisk talk is nonsense. If anybody tells you that this season's championship deserves an asterisk, you could put an asterisk on any championship in league history. You could put an asterisk on any of Michael's championships. You can put an asterisk on any of Kareem's or any of Magic's or any of Bird's or any of LeBron's. I know people put asterisks on LeBron James's championship, like his 3rd championship. Well, you know, if Draymond Green doesn't get suspended, the if Draymond Green doesn't get suspended, the Golden State Warriors win it in like 5 or 6. Draymond Green missed game 5. Yes, he played in game 6, played in game 7. Cleveland still won. It may have been a momentum swing in that series, but Draymond Green still played game 6 and 7. Now, people know I'm not the biggest Kevin Durant fan. I love him as a player. I'm not overly fond of his personality. I hated the move to Golden State because I thought it disrupt dis, disrupted the balance of power in the NBA essentially to an almost unfair scale. If he had got anywhere else and won a championship, there were rumors at that time of him going to Washington, or rumors at the time him going to New York, or rumors of him maybe staying in Oklahoma City. If he had won a championship anywhere else but Golden State, he would have had like my full, endorsement, full respect. He's the best player in the league. But that team was far too stacked for my personal opinion. That team was far too stacked. So I don't give KD the credit that a guy with 2 championships deserves. That a guy with 2 championships probably deserves. I don't give him that credit because I just thought that that was an unfair scale. And even still, you know how I know that team was unfair? Kevin Durant damn near popped his Achilles before he hurt his Achilles, and it took a Klay Thompson, and it also took a Klay Thompson torn ACL for the Toronto Raptors to win that series in 6. You knew what the team it took Golden State losing 2 of their best 4 players for the Toronto Raptors to beat them in 6. Imagine if they had been completely healthy. That series is over in 5 at best. At worst, actually not at best. At worst, that series ends in 5. At best, it's a sweep. The Golden State Warriors were just that much better than everybody else. And Kevin Durant didn't get the credit for it because they were way too OP. They were completely overpowered. But this asterisk talk on championships is nonsense. I may not give Kevin Durant as much respect as other people do for the championships he won in Golden State, but they're still legitimate champions. They're still legit champions. They still went out there. They beat everybody. That's one of the greatest teams ever assembled. They fit perfectly together. You had three guys who can legitimately drop 40 points any given night, 40 points any given night, and and not have to be ball dominant. They can all catch and shoot. They can all move without the ball. They can all create their own shots. Now, Klay Thompson is nowhere near the shot creation that Steph Curry and Kevin Durant are. Those are two of the best shot creators in the NBA, maybe even NBA history. But Klay Thompson is still a unreal shooter. Him, KD, and Steph are three of the 5 or 6, without question, 3 of the 10 greatest shooters ever. KD's maybe the best pure scorer ever. Steph and Klay are probably the 2 greatest shooters ever. So you can't just say that these guys got, stole a championship. Now, I believe that if KD goes anywhere else, LeBron probably has 6 rings right now. Instead of 4, he has at least 5. Because I think they go back to back. Because I think they at least go back to back. Because that second Cleveland Cavaliers team was better than the first one. And they beat anybody else coming out of the Western Conference. They were that good. They beat anybody else coming out of the Western Conference in, 2017. That 2017 year. They beat anybody else coming out of the Western Conference. But these two teams, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns, deserve to be in the NBA Finals. And if it had been Atlanta, they deserve to be in the NBA Finals because in the fourth quarter, they were down by like 20 points after 3. But they fought their way back, made it like went on like a 21-7 run in the fourth quarter. Put this game into question. But Drew Holiday hit some clutch shots. Brook Lopez made some clutch defensive plays. PJ Tucker hit a clutch shot. Pat Connaughton hit some shots. And it was just enough to win this game by 11. And the score is not indicative of, I don't think, how indicative of how this game goes, because I think Milwaukee was just a better team, especially in the second half, especially in that third quarter. They dominated that third quarter, and that was the quarter that essentially put this game out of reach for the Atlanta Hawks. With an injured Trae Young going down by that much, they just could not overcome it. And the Atlanta Hawks are going home, but the Atlanta Hawks were fantastic this season. Absolutely fantastic. And they were absolutely fantastic. And we're going to give them another round of applause. They beat the New York Knicks in 5 games. Trae Young's essential coming out party on the national stage. They beat Philly in 7 games. Made some definite adjustments in the second half of that series to win. And they took Milwaukee to 6. Milwaukee themselves beat down the Miami Heat in the first round for a 4-0 sweep. A lot of us thought that series was going at least 6, if not 7. Some of us thought there was a good chance Miami could win after what happened last year. But this year, Milwaukee put it on them, and then they went 7 with Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn lost James Harden, James Harden was hobbled in that series, missed the first couple of games, and Kyrie Irving went down with a sprained ankle, and he missed the rest of that series. But that does not take away from the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks put who is in front of them. They beat who was in front of them. Giannis Antetokounmpo goes down with a hyperextension in game 4, and they still won the next 2 games. Now the NBA Finals are going to start on Tuesday on ABC. Can't wait to watch it. I've said it before. I think Old Man CP is going to get him a ring this year, and I can't fucking wait. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns for making the finals. I think this is the first time the Phoenix Suns have made the finals since I want to say the Charles Barkley year, which would have been what, 93? I want to say 93 or 94. No, 94, 95. Jordan was playing baseball. So yeah, it would have been 93. I believe it was. I think 96 was, who the hell was 96? 96 Seattle? 96 might have been Seattle. I'm not, and I know 97 and 98 were Utah. I think 96 was Seattle, or maybe it might have been Portland. Doesn't matter. I forget who that 93 team was, who that 96 team was, because it doesn't fucking matter. But these two teams definitely, we're going to give them one more round of applause. Give them some cheering. Some gunshots. So that's it for that. Now, I wanted to touch on something else. I want to touch on a couple other topics, actually, but there were some things that honestly, like, really irritated me when I was listening to another one of my shows that I listen to on like YouTube and stuff like that. The Karl Anthony Towns situation in Minnesota. Now, people have been talking about Ben Simmons maybe getting traded to Minnesota for, what was it? For, I would do, if I was Philly, I would do this trade immediately. It would be I want to say it's D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley for Ben Simmons. If I was Philly, I would ask, give me a first round, give me this year's first round pick, and it's a deal. If not, give me next year's first round pick and maybe a pick swap after that, and maybe like a pick swap in the following year, and it's a deal. But I'm gonna need like a pick for Ben Simmons because D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley, one, aren't on his level, and two, haven't exactly been healthy the last couple years. So that's a bit of a heads up for that. But without question, I gotta say, I would do that trade in a heartbeat. Because what you need in Philly, because Philly, I said this last week, not last week, was it last episode or the episode before that? Philadelphia is a ready-made championship team. They are ready immediately to win a ring. What they need right now, instead of Ben Simmons, they need an established all-star level playmaking, shot creating point guard. That's what they need. And D'Angelo Russell fits that. Now, your defense is going to suffer without Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is an all-world defensive player, all defensive team level, first team defensive team level defensive player, and he proved it this year. But no. But here's your issue. Here's the problem with that. It's not enough. Defense is not the same as offense. It's not two sides of the same coin. I know people want to say it's 50-50. It's not 50-50. It's more like 70-20, more like 70-30 or 80-20 or somewhere in between. But it is not 50-50. In this league, your second best player cannot be afraid to shoot. He can't be afraid to shoot. In this league, this isn't the 90s where you can have a defensive team with one dominant scorer and win a championship or win multiple championships. In this league today, you need at least two guys who can go out and get you at least 30 points a night, every single night, sometimes at the same time. You need one of these guys in the playoffs to be able to get you somewhere between 20 and 30 points. On big games, you need both these guys to be able to get you 30 points. Surround them with good players, surround them with shooters, surround them with role players. But in this league today, you need scoring. You absolutely need scoring. And this whole, first of all, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves should blow this thing the hell up. I am so over Karl Anthony Towns. And I know Karl Anthony Towns lost his mom, And I am so sorry for that. I am so sorry for what Carl Anthony Towns had to go through this year, losing a parent. Know what that feels like. But here's why he gets a pass this year and only this year. Only this year does Carl Anthony Towns get to pass from me. Carl Anthony Towns has been in the league. He got drafted 2015, 2016. Played 82 games his first 3 years. His fourth year played 77 games. Last year played 35 games. Year before that played this year he only played 50 games. He is a fantastic player. This year he had averaged about 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. One of the most offensively gifted big men the NBA has ever seen. But he is alpha game with beta leadership. The 2017-2018 season is the year that they had Jimmy Butler. And when they had Jimmy Butler, people forget the first half of that year, they were so good. They were in the top half of the Western Conference, along with the Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors, Portland Trailblazers. They were in the like Oklahoma City Thunder, Utah Jazz. They were up in that mix of top 4 teams in the Western Conference. Jimmy Butler goes down. I think it was like a partial tear in his ACL. He goes down and they implode. If they had kept it 500, they'd have made a playoff. They would have comfortably, it looks like they probably would have comfortably made the playoffs. Probably in that like 5-6 range. But because they basically imploded when Jimmy went down, Jimmy had surgery, a surgery that was going to get him back earlier, and they barely made the playoffs and then got bounced in the first round by the Houston Rockets. Excuse me. First round of that series, yeah. They lose that series in 5. They got bounced in the first round. And then what happens in the offseason? Jimmy Butler sees these guys that they're not ready, that they don't want it like he wants it, and he basically punks them. You know the story. Jimmy takes Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins takes the starters. Jimmy takes the reserves and he crushes them in practice, proving once and for all that they don't want it like he wants it. What happens the year before that? They were 31 and 51. The year before that, they were 29 and 53. Without Jimmy Butler on this team, they have never sniffed the playoffs. I know 2015-16 was Karl Anthony Towns' first rookie season. Gets a pass on that. His sophomore season, once again, gets a pass on that. His third year in the league, that's showing what happened after Jimmy Butler gets hurt and what happens after and what happens in the offseason. No, he didn't get a pass for that shit. It makes him look weak. And the next year, back at the bottom of the Western Conference again. Back at the bottom of the West again. And the year after that, last year, but abysmal in the Western Conference. Yeah, he missed a lot of games, but man, no. Karl Anthony Towns has yet to get this team anywhere near the playoffs, and I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of listening to it. I'm tired of everyone saying, man, give him one more year. To me, I'd blow it up now. I would blow it up without question right now, but is what it is. He's alpha game, beta leadership. He's not a number 1. He's a number 2. And it hurts me to say this. He's kind of like Anthony Davis. Alpha game, beta leadership. He's not a true leader. And I don't know how hard, and I don't know if he's got that want to win championships. I don't know if he has that want to. I've never thought he has that. I've questioned that want to ever since that season with Jimmy Butler. I have questioned because Jimmy Butler is one of those guys I respect wholeheartedly, and to see Jimmy like just go off on them lets me know that this that's you, not him. That's you. All right, we're gonna take a short break. All right, we back. So after my rant on Karl Anthony Towns and his ridiculous behavior, man's made the playoffs once, and everyone's like kowtowing to him. And he was not really that, and he was not really that good in that playoff run either. But everybody's ready to kowtow to him. We need to get D'Angelo Russell because Cat wants him. Cat has done nothing to prove that he deserves the superstar treatment. He may be a superstar talent, but he ain't a superstar player yet. Get out of here with that nonsense. Now rumors are that Kyle Kuzma is not in it with LeBron James. A lot of tweets coming out and a lot of reports coming out that, first of all, LeBron James has never been great at playing with young players. That's just not who he is. LeBron James likes experienced guys who know their roles. He's not a big fan of playing with guys who are looking to make a name for themselves. He's just not. That's just not who he is. He's never been that guy. And now you know he's not that guy. He's never been the guy who's like, you know what? I want to play with young guys who are looking to make a name for themselves. He's not about that. And Kyle Kuzma is on an incredibly team-friendly extension, 3 years, $39 million, $13 million salary for the next, well, especially the next 2 years. He's got a player option in the third year of that contract. And if I was Kyle Kuzma, I would opt out for that third year because what people don't understand is Kyle Kuzma kind of came out of nowhere. Kuz definitely just kind of came out of nowhere in that what draft was it? It was I believe it was the draft with it was the 2018 draft. I believe it was the draft. So it would have been the 2017 draft. Yeah, it was the draft with Markel Fultz and Lonzo Ball and Jason Tatum and Josh Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, Laurie Markkinen, Franklin Nakila, Dennis Smith Jr., Zach Collins. Luke Kennard was taken 12th in that draft. Donovan Mitchell, 13th. Bam Adebayo, 14th. Kyle Kuzma taken 27th by Brooklyn, actually. Went to college, and then he got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Or was that the Lakers, or did the Lakers get that team from? I forgot. I forgot how that whole thing went down. I don't know if they drafted or they traded for, but he played in LA. And LeBron James, like I said, LeBron James does not like playing with young players. He's never, even when he was a young player, he didn't like playing with young players. But Kuzma's got his ring. So if he's really unhappy playing with LeBron James, yo, try and get yourself traded, my guy. Try and get yourself traded to a team where you can be that number 2 or maybe number 1. Because Kuzma ain't no scrub. Kuzma's about 6'10, about 220. He's skilled, he's long, he's athletic. In his rookie year, averaged 16 points, which was more than Brandon Ingram. In his sophomore year, averaged 18 and a half points. That was his first year with LeBron James. Once again, I believe it was more than Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram was the draft the year before, I believe. Hold on. Let me check what is it, the 2016 draft? Yeah, the 2016 draft was the Brandon Ingram draft. He averaged more points than Brandon Ingram did in his rookie year. Averaged about the same amount of points. Yeah, they both averaged 16.1 points in that 2017-2018 season. Averaged slightly more points than Kyle Kuzma the next year. Also played more games than Brandon Ingram the next year. And then the next year, Brandon Ingram, 18.3 to 18.7. Slightly more, slightly better. And then Brandon Williams goes to New Orleans and he's allowed to just blossom over the last 2 years, averaging 24 points. If that had been Kyle Kuzma, you'd have saw something very similar. You would have saw basically an inversion of these two stats. Instead of Kyle Kuzma averaging 12, averaging basically 13 points the last 2 years in the regular season, you just saw him average in the 20s, in the low 20s on New Orleans. And Kyle Kuzma did a lot to befriend keep himself in LA, befriending Jeannie Buss, you know, playing nice with LeBron James, all that stuff. I like Kyle Kuzma. Like, he's got his ring, and like I said, he's got a very team friendly deal. If he had become a free agent, he'd have got probably 20 million on the open market. After that year, if he had been like a straight free agent, he'd have got probably 20 million on the open market. But he signed an extension, and I think it was listening to Colin Cowherd who said his contract is tough to move. The hell are you talking about, Colin? I like Colin, but this is not a tough contract to move. I mean, 3 years, $39 million, $13 million a year for a guy as talented as he is. Uh-uh. He's going to he's gonna get a pay bump this year, and that's great. But if I'm Kyle Kuzma and I really have a problem playing in LeBron James's shadow, and I don't think it's great for young guys to play with LeBron James. LeBron James, like I said, LeBron James needs veteran guys who are in like year 7 or 8 who know who the hell they are. They know who they are. They know what their role is. They're not trying to make a name for themselves. They've already made a name for themselves. So if I'm him, hey man, if you're gonna try to get out of LA, I would suggest you try and do it. I would have absolutely no problem with it. No problem whatsoever. Now, before that's pretty much it for today's show. Um Actually, there's something else I wanted to touch on. The whole Zion Williamson thing in that took place a couple weeks ago in New Orleans. I don't think I ever really touched on it on the show, but I'm gonna talk about it right now. Zion Williamson does not belong in New Orleans. And I know New Orleans fans are going to hate to hear me say that. And I'm sorry that, your feelings going to be a little hurt on this one. I love the fans from Nolo, but from New Orleans, I love you guys. But he needs to get out of New Orleans. I know, I know. Hear me out. Basketball is not a thing in New Orleans. In Louisiana. Louisiana's football territory. And here's my thing with New Orleans. New Orleans is such a football city that basketball ranks like fourth in the sports activities there. It's NFL football, it's college football, then it's high school football. The Pelicans get bumped off the back page for high school football. If I'm Zion Williamson, I don't want to be in that place. The family that owns the Pelicans also own the Saints. You know what the Pelicans feels like to me? The Pelicans feel like the side hustle for that family. I don't remember the family's name. I could look it up. I just don't feel like it. It feels like a side hustle for them. The Pelicans are their side hustle, not their legit hustle. It's their side hustle. It's the hustle they do. Sorry about that. It's the hustle they do because they can, just to prove how rich they are. But the Saints is their real hustle. It's where they make their real money. The Pelicans are just happen to be a team that they own, happen to be the basketball team that they own. You know what city deserves a basketball team? Put him in Seattle. Can we get Seattle? Can we get the Seattle Supersonics back? The NBA, I grew up with the Seattle Supersonics in the league, and by the time I was in really, really into basketball, they weren't really that good. And then they moved to Oklahoma City, which Jesus Christ was a fucking travesty. because I don't something about like the owners or the city not wanting to pay for a new arena. Which, are you fucking kidding me? Now look at you, basketballist, ridiculous. Boo to Seattle. And cheers for Seattle. Hopefully, you can get yourselves a team. Hell, put him in Vegas. Put him in Vegas. That would be fantastic. Put them in Vegas. But yes, if I'm Zion Williamson, some guy is going to have to be the guy that takes the qualifying offer. And for those of you who don't know what I mean, after when you get drafted, you sign a 4-year deal in the NBA. You have the first 2 years of your deal are guaranteed. The next 2 years of your deal are team options. For most teams, they take the team option. Actually, all teams take the 2-year team option to see, because it takes guys sometimes to really progress. It takes guys, especially big men, a couple years to really find your footing. So after that, what is it, your third year? I believe it's your third year. You're eligible to sign. Yeah, what is it? I'm pretty sure it's after your third year, you are eligible to sign a rookie extension. Now, the rookie extension is the max. It's the max extension. It's like the rookie, because I think 2 guys on Phoenix are eligible for this extension. I was talking about it last episode. DeAndre Ayton, yeah, this is his third year. So he is eligible for a 5-year, $168 million max contract, which he's probably going to get, or he's going to get something very, very close to that. Maybe 130. But and then you have your 4th year. Now, let's say you don't take that exception. You do your 4th year, and then you have the 5th year, which I believe is a now, if you don't take it, you take the qualifying offer for your 5th year. You, instead of signing a rookie extension, you take the qualifying offer, which in, let's say, DeAndre Ayton's case would be $16.4 million for that season. And after you bet on yourself, you take that qualifying offer, the 2022 season, he would be an unrestricted free agent. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. He would be an unrestricted free agent, able to sign a max contract, probably a 4-year max, anywhere else in the league. He would lose out maybe $30 million, I believe. Yeah, he would lose that. I want to say about $30 million, because that it'd be what? Because let me break it. Where the hell's my phone? There it is. Sorry. Let me break out the calculator. See how well this I believe is you, because Ayton, let's see, 168 divided by 5. Yeah, about $33 million. He would miss about $33 million. So it'd be a $135 million contract, probably a 4-year 135, somewhere around there. That would be his new deal to sign anywhere, and eventually someone's going to take that chance. I don't think it'll be Zion, because Zion is too injury prone. I think he's too high of an injury risk to take that chance. I think he'll play his third year, and then he'll take the rookie max, which will be slight. I think it might be slightly more than Ayton's, because I know 2 guys who are the 2 guys who just signed like their like rookie max contract. I believe it was Donovan Mitchell, and I believe De'Aaron Fox, excuse me, just signed their like rookie extensions. Because Mitchell signed a 5-year, $163 million contract. Yeah, no All NBA. There are some provisions in it also. No All NBA. He makes $163 million. He makes the All NBA team, that balloons up to 195. Same thing with De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox also, I think is Donovan Mitchell's all NBA. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, it's all NBA for him. With De'Aaron Fox, he has the same deal, 5 years, $163 million. But his is he makes the All NBA third team that balloons up to 169.5. He makes the All NBA second team that balloons up to 182.6. All NBA first team 195.6. And then he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2026 when he's like 28 years old. So Zion is probably going to take that deal because, yeah, like I said, he's far too like at high of an injury risk. But eventually, some guy is going to take the chance and buck the system. And I don't think it's Luka because I'm pretty sure Luka just like accepted a deal. I mean, look up the Dallas Mavericks. I forgot if it was recently, but I'm fairly certain Luka Doncic like took an extension. No, he did not. But Luka isn't eligible for the max extension. He's eligible for the super max extension. 5 years, $201 million. Who's not taking that? Who's not taking that? Luka's gonna take that money. That's $40 million a year. Nobody's not taking that. Luka's gonna take it, and I hope it's better for him. I think it'd be fantastic for him to take that 5 year, $201 million. That'd be great for him. He's already essentially he's going to be making he's made about 21 million in his 21.8 in on his rookie deal so far. He'll probably take that supermax extension this summer. But if I were Dallas, I'm assuming he's going to want some things and not provisions in the contract, but I'm assuming he's going to want them to adjust the roster. Hey, him and Kristaps have kind of been bumping heads. Get Kristaps the hell out of there then. Get him the hell out of there. But somebody's gonna buck the system. Somebody who's almost never been hurt, and he's gonna buck that system. I would love to see it be Luka, but I don't think it's gonna be Luka. That's too much money. $200 million. That's too much money. But Luka would get that on the open market, but that's too early to be making that type of money. So he's gonna take that supermax, most likely opt out of his contract the final year, and then hit free agency like most guys in like their 8th year, or maybe force a trade after his 7th year. But most guys wait 8 years. But that's it for the Technical File podcast. I am your host, Jay, back at it once again. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast to your friends. Let people know what I'm doing here. Let people hear me, listen to me. Once again, like, subscribe, share, post the episode, share the episode, whether it's on you, if you find it on YouTube, or if you find it on any other podcast service, share it on, Instagram, Twitter, whichever social media you about. And that's it for the show tonight.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the